Okay, this is a video of a disassembly of an Elgin pocket watch. This is I think these were European made, even though I can't figure that out, but they got kind of an E number or something in front of the serial number of the Elgin, but I took the cover off it already. It's a bit scratched, so it needs some work on it. And I also popped the back off, and both of these you have to pop off with a knife. Paka. That's all, folks. Anyway, it's a 10 karat gold case, so it's gold filled 10K. So it's a nice little case. This Elgin actually came in a really beautiful pocket watch case by Elgin. So this came in this case, which is really nice. And I'll just reassemble that after. But anyway, it's really nice. So here's the movement here. And it's an Elgin movement, 15 joules. It says Elgin USA, which makes me believe it's Elgin USA, but kind of looks really European, especially the way the winding mechanisms and stuff work. Anyway, I've taken the energy out of the mainspring already, so I just have to remove the hands, and then I've got to, after I remove the hands, I have to take it out of the actual case, watch case. So we're going to remove the hands here, which is popping these babies off, which is not that difficult a job. Just have to get under here and lift that up. I can get a little bit closer with my camera probably. There we go. That's a bit better. So you just have to do this and then use this piece of paper to protect it. That one snapped right off, but it's not broken or anything, so it's fine. And then the second hand, you do the same thing, but I find I just need to take it from one side probably and shimmy this little device underneath the second hand, like so. And then you pull up. I gotta watch myself here. I'm gonna scratch this, and I don't want to do that. Just like that. There we go. So those are the hands, and what I typically do when I'm cleaning a watch, sorry about the knuckles, is I take the hands and I put them on top of the crystal here, just so I don't lose them, because you can lose things when you're doing watch work. So there, I've got the hands off, and I just rested the watch in the back of the case for now, right? And now I know I should be wearing gloves and stuff like that, but you know, I think if the watch was worth $1 billion, I'd have gloves on. But this watch is not super expensive, so it's not a very super high-end watch, although it's a nice watch. And the actual amplitude of the watch is really crappy. That's why I've decided to clean it, because it was barely moving, even though it kind of worked for a full 24 hours. It just worked really poorly. The amplitude was really bad. So I've decided to clean it. So I got two options here. I just make this video and publish it, or I make this video and I speed it up so it becomes a 5-minute video. And see, when you take the movement out, you always have to pull the stem out, right, the crown and stem, and then that allows you to slip the movement out this way, right? So see if I can get the movement out here. It's tricky sometimes. Everything is undone, so it should just pop out. Looks like it wants to. Maybe I got too much stuff in the way. No, there we go. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. It usually just comes right out, so I'm not sure what's going on here. It's got personality this morning. It's Sunday morning. What I don't want to do is break the stem on the inside. So, oh, I know what it is. Oh, these watches are terrible for this. I think you got to push the stem in on these. See, I'm screwed up because it's this. I think these keyless mechanisms are European. So you take this little screw right here, and then you turn the screw ever so slightly like this, and it lifts a lever up that allows you to just pull the stem right out. So it's still not lifting up. So Just turn it a little bit more, like so. And then see, that comes right out. So that just kind of peeves me off. I forgot about this. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to ask somebody when these movements started working that way, because I tried to pull it out just now and I could have broke the stem off, because all the other North American pocket watches come out the way I just showed you. So there we go. There's the basic movement here. And then the next step here is to find out how the face is put on. So I take the screw right on the side here, and there should be 3 of them here. So, and a screw here. It looks like there's only 2. So, unless I went around the block 3 times. So I'm going to just put this case, get this out of the way, and just unscrew these top screws here, like this. And I leave them in when I clean the watch because I don't want to lose them. So I just unscrew them a bit, and then there's posts in the face of the watch that grab onto that. So you do that, and then usually on the inside there's a hole there. See if it's a hole on the other side. No, it doesn't work that way. I think you just work your way in here and you just separate it. Okay, I leave this thumbnail long so I can get underneath there. And there's the 2 posts. So posts here at 12 o'clock and a post at 6. So usually, again, there's 3 posts. So the face is in mint condition. It's really good, actually. So it's not going to need any cleaning. So I'll just put that on the side. And then the next thing I do before I put this thing on there, take this gear out, and I put that aside as well, and the rest of these gears can stay where they are. Sometimes if I'm lazy, I'll oil this up but won't unscrew all these things. This looks really impeccably clean. I might put a little bit of lube in there and oil it, but sometimes I'll just clean the face by putting, and I know the watchmakers out there would be mad at me, but I just dip half the watch in water and I clean the jewels out that way, and especially if the rest of this doesn't need cleaning, because this thing looks pretty clean right now. This cap jewel here has got a little tiny of a screw kind of thing happening right there, if you can see that, and that's the cap. That's the jewel for the balance, I believe. And if I flip it away on the other side, I have to take the cannon pinion out as well. So this here, if you grip it right, you can take it out without any problem, because if I don't take this out, I can't get the center wheel out. So we'll just see how tight that's in. So I typically just grab it like this and pull it straight out. There it is there. And that's the cannon pinion. See if that focuses there. Yeah, there it is there. So I just remove that and put that aside. Like I say, now I've got the watch pretty much blank on the back, which is how I want it. And I can put it into this movement holder for the rest of Operation Disassemble. So there we go. So the watch looks like this now. And then just so I don't make any marks or screw anything up, the next thing you should do is take out the balance cock and the balance assembly, because if you leave it in and you're working on the rest of the watch, there's a chance that you might frig up the hairspring, which is not recommended. And I also have and there's usually, let me see if I can get access at this properly. There's usually an indentation in the back right there that allows you to get your screwdriver in to lift it up a bit, right? And once you've lifted up, I'm going to get my balance cock holder. So that's my holder right there. And just you lift this up like this, like so. And then you shimmy it out by turning the movement sideways a bit. And then you can just put it right onto the balance cock holder here. I think there's another name for this, but I can't remember it right now because I'm busy. So you move that out of the way, and I'll examine the pivots on the end of the balance as well. So we're down to this point here, and I can see that the type of, there's the pallet fork is right here, right? And all the energy is out of the watch because it's not, the escapement's not moving around, moving the pallet fork, so it's cool. And so I'll unscrew all this stuff. So the next thing to take out of this watch is you need to unscrew the ratchets, the ratchet wheel. So this one here, and usually they're reverse. You have to actually screw them like this, backwards. So it all has to do with physics. So take that out, and I try to just group the parts together. And I'm lazy, so instead of scratching the watch trying to pick out the ratchet, I use some Rodico watchmaker's putty, and I can just stick it down like that. Look at that, the ratchet comes right out. So there's a little trick for you, and there's the top part. And you just make sure that both these parts, I don't like touching these with my fingers, so I'm just going to move this over. And I group the ratchet and the inner part of the ratchet together with the screw, and that's just so I don't lose it, right? Then the next thing I got to do is take out this ratchet. This is on top of the mainspring, and this looked like it was already loose for some reason, but I don't know if anyone's ever cleaned this watch before. Sometimes you get these watches that have never ever been cleaned. People just buy them and then they just wear them a while, and they put them in a drawer, and then they stay in that drawer until the guy dies, and then there's an estate sale, and then some guy finds it and goes, oh, I wonder what this is worth, and then he finds out that it's worth a bit of money, and then goes from there. This is a weird spring here. I may want to take a picture of this, because if I screw this up at all, I have to put this back. So if you see the way that spring works there, so that's, I don't want to break that, because it's kind of goes right on top of where the ratchet wheel is. That's really weird. I've never seen that before. There's a spring inside right here, and it wraps all the way around and goes over here. So if I had to redo that one, I'd have to probably use a guitar string or something, which I've done before. So this is a video, so I'm talking a lot. So what I do in this case is I use my iPhone, and I take a photo of the movement, just so if I have some fancy spring stuff I got to put back together, that I don't forget how to do it. So I've got that out, and now I've got to take out the plate here, and it should be this screw here, and then the other two screws, the screw here, right? I'll put the plate right here, our plate screws right here, this screw right here, and if you remember, the other screw was for taking out the stem. So I've done a few of those, the Elgin watches that have that crazy stem mechanism, and they're the newer ones actually. And also the Elgin usually have a little symbol below the word Elgin. I'm not sure what that symbol was for, and I haven't been able to get anybody to explain it to me. So I think the symbol, I think these things were actually made in Switzerland for Elgin. So, and again, so I've disassembled that, and there's a little bit of a notch back here that I can get a screwdriver in to lift the plate up, and there's a notch back here. So there's two notches. Just lift it up, move it aside, and let's see if the wheel comes with it and everything else. No, looks like it's coming along. So there's the plate. Looks like it's in pretty good condition. So I'll examine the jewel holes later on with my I got a couple of magnifying kind of devices that I use for examining jewel holes, and because I took out I removed the cannon pinion from the other side earlier. That's this little jobby hickey right here. That's the cannon pinion, right? See if I can, right there. I pull that out, and because I pull that out, I'm able to get access to the center wheel. So, but before I do that, I'm going to take another picture in case there's any strange stuff that needs to be reassembled later on, and I don't know how to reassemble. So then I can probably pull out the mainspring right here right away and put that aside, right? Now, whether I take the mainspring apart and clean it or not is kind of a iffy. So I take out the center wheel. Now I'll leave this wheel in place until I've taken out this bridge. And this is a pretty simple bridge to unscrew, so just unscrew that here. And then I'm just going to take this. Usually I do a screw at a time. One thing I find, if you don't put your screws in the right place right away, you end up losing them. I've got a bunch of vintage screws though, so I usually can find a screw that fits that. So, and there's a little notch in the back here. I'll show you that notch for a second. See that? There's a notch right there. You can see that. That's what I put my screwdriver in. It allows me to move the bridge up. So I just put the screwdriver in like that. I rotate the screwdriver just a bit, and it usually removes the bridge. And then I reach in with the tweezers very carefully, and I miss. And then I put that down, and now I can take out these wheels. And again, I'll take another photo, because when I put these wheels back in, it's pretty obvious the second hand wheel, it's pretty obvious it goes down, because the second hand actually has to be attached to it, and then the other wheel is pretty obvious where that goes. But there's no real issue anymore. I know how to do this, so I've done enough of these watches that I no longer have to question where things go. But I try not to grab the gears, but in this case here, it's the only way to access it. So I've got all that now, and then all I have to do is unscrew. Well, before I lose this, I think I've already lost it. There's a gear here that I think fell out, and that's the gear for this mechanism here. So I have to find that. It's on the mat somewhere here. Not sure where it is actually. Probably while I'm talking and showing everybody something, this thing fell out. So it's around. I believe it's around. So anyway, I'm not sure where it is. Maybe it actually, no, there is no gear for that. I think the stem goes all the way in here. Let me look here again. Yeah, the stem fits in there. It's just receded back, that's all. That's weird. So this gear goes in like this, and then it goes into the, like this, and then it goes into the top part, like that. And then this, if I screw that out, this allows me to put the stem in. So it goes like that. So, and I like to take a picture of that as well, because this is something that I could easily screw up too. And I know it takes time to put it back sometimes, because you're like, okay, what did I do? What did I do? There we go. Now I can hear my wife and my granddaughter playing hide and seek downstairs. I'm just hoping they don't decide to come up here, because if they do, I will definitely lose something. So let me take this out and put it over here. And let me make sure the wheels go in the right direction. This goes like that. This goes like this. Yeah, that's the fat side towards the outside. So it's like that. And that's all I have to remove from here. And if you look at this mechanism from the other side, when you screw that in or out, it takes this, there's a lever. Let's see if I can show you here with the camera. Right there, yeah. So if you screw that screw in or out, this lever here goes up and down, and this either locks the stem in position, or allows the stem to move freely. So that's all that does. And then this lever here, just when you push the stem in and out, it moves the gear back and forth to either engage the hour wheel changing hands, or to engage the winding mechanisms, one or the other. So that's all there is there. So, and the last thing I've got to remove here from this is the pallet fork. So there's just one screw here for that. And when you clean the pallet fork, you try not to use the use lighter fluid to clean a pallet fork, because there's shellac on it, and the shellac will loosen, and then you'll lose the actual jewels on the end of the pallet fork. So that's pallet fork right there. It's ever so small. You see that? Okay. And just put that aside. And because I'm lazy, I don't want to take out all this mechanism here. I could take this out if I wanted to, but no big deal. But it doesn't really need cleaning. It looks pretty freaking clean. So I'm going to leave it where it is. It's going to save me probably a couple hours. Later on, though, after I clean the watch, I'm actually going to take this jewel cap off and then clean the jewel underneath, because that's the jewel riding on the balance right in there. So I'm going to examine each one of these jewels to make sure they're in good condition, there's no issue, and I'm also going to examine the jewels that are on the other bridges and plates, because there's jewels here as well, as you can see, and so I have to have a look at those jewels to make sure that they're working and there's no issue at all there. So that's the disassembly of an Elgin 15 jewel 546 movement, serial number E194672. So I could look that up and tell you exactly how old it is, but probably couldn't tell you where it was made. Thank you very much.